Welcome. I am Lavonia. That's right. I am here in the midst of an exciting time in our lives, a serious time in our lives, too. I don't know how we will make it through. Well, I do. I keep saying to folk, in this political world and this drama that we're dealing with, we are going to make it through. You might not feel good about what's happening in the political world right now, because I want you to understand before we even get started. You don't believe it, but you believe it now, I bet. Politics impacts every aspect of your life. Let me say it again. Politics impacts every aspect of your life. Who would have thought that 20,000 miles away, over there near the North Sea, that those individuals, along with the madman in the White House, would impact your gas bill, the gas that you put in your car, how much you pay for a house, your utilities, and smoke coming into your house. All politics. So how do you impact and how do you get involved in that? You might say, well, I don't believe that. Nor do I. I've never voted. Why should I vote? It doesn't impact me. Well, just put it this way. If you don't vote and don't speak your vote up, if you don't support the people who are willing to speak for you on behalf of what you're doing, you might not see anything happening in your community. And then you raise Cain. You raise Cain about, this is not happening in my community. Mm-hmm. Housing is too high. The air is not working. Schools are not working. There are no buses running. Nothing is happening in your community. It goes both ways. You have to have a voice in your community. And some of you all are saying, well, I don't know what that means. Well, guess what? I have a sister here who will tell you and has shown many people over the years how being a public servant can make a difference, and how you can work with your public servant to make a difference in your community. It's a two-way street, baby. This is about making a difference. I want to say this before I even get started again. Voting will impact your lifestyle. Voting is your right, a privilege, and a responsibility. So in Detroit or in the metropolitan area, in Michigan, guess what? The opportunities are wide. Well, you don't have to wait till August 4th. You don't have to wait. You can do it now, today. My voice and the next voice coming up, after we finish having our conversation, you can get up and get busy. And I strongly encourage you not to go by yourself. I strongly encourage you to look around at the dinner table. Well, I don't know if we sit around the dinner table anymore, but look around the room and ask yourself. I had to ask myself this. I'm gonna tell on myself. I've been out here in this community doing 99 things with everybody else. Then I had to check my family. I said, well, let me see who's not. Are you registered? Have you voted? And I'm going to tell you the truth. There were people in my family who had not registered and who said they weren't going to vote, or they didn't know how to vote. They didn't know who to vote for. And they were very lax in their importance of it. Well, you know, I had to teach.
Come on.
I locked them up in the room, locked the door, and I said, we're going to teach, and I'm taking you to the polls. So I'm strongly saying this prior to us going into another conversation with someone that has been doing the work and who is truly a public servant. Roslyn Ogburn. Thank you so very much for joining me.
Thank you, Lavonia. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for this opportunity and this platform to talk about civic education. Because that's what you've been talking about forever, right?
Yes.
Our access to the ballot box to be able to say what we need and to choose who's actually representing us. So, once again, introduce myself, Roslyn Ogburn, and fourth generational Detroiter, mother of 5. Been doing the work for over 25 years, as you know, focused on housing sustainability and air quality and water affordability. When we talk about my pre-work, I tell people I started off just following my daughter, Rajanice, into her classrooms, realizing as I had the privilege to be a housewife, to go into the field trips and to visit, but I realized there was not that many individuals that looked like me that was supporting our children, right? So you know how the parent-teacher ratio, you get 6 kids there. But so that kind of activated my volunteerism. I started very, just very primitive. But then, like I said, seeing those pieces missing of us representing and showing up. Then it escalated as I think maybe Rajanice was in 4th or 5th grade, got asked to be the LSCO treasurer, right? Started to get engaged. Now we realize, there's funding behind here. Oh, hold on. We can get funding for the kids. So there's a Title 1A funding that each school gets as 1% of their school budget. So then I got educated, got trained from the state level, started and escalate that, became LSCO president. Oh, now we can get more money for the whole schools. So that's kind of how it started.
That's how you started.
Yes, I had it started.
Yes.
And so when we talked about it and realized, I'm an environmentalist because I love the nature, look, she knows we focus on that as a hobby. When the normal people say, so I go into the parks, I go into nature. Because what I realized is having 5 children, that is one of our cheapest activities.
Go to the park.
Right, let's go outside,
right,
let's go play, right? All we need is a football, jump rope,
That's right.
Come on.
The swing.
Yes, come on now. So that was really, it's synergized. But once again, we started identifying, what's at the parks? Every park does not have everything. And me and you even talked about, if we talked about certain parks and our communities off the water, some of them have marinas.
Yes.
Access to the water to put your feet in.
Yes.
But some of them are restricted now. Right? So that's it. Wait a minute. We need policies. We need to talk about how we expand this and allow our children to have more access to that. Then I start going to rooms and once again, I'm the only black face in that, talking about environment. Talking about expanding our spaces that protect our air quality. And so I believe my pivotal meeting was as LSCO president. I believe a nurse from one of the colleges came in and said, I have a survey, $25. Can I ask your parents to take the survey for children that live closer to the freeways? Why we did the free, $25, they took it. Surveys come back. Over 80% of the children that lived off the corridors and the freeways had asthma or bronchitis.
You mean to tell me that's in
that area, off of Southfield and Schoolcraft. That was with the school I was at that time.
Why did they have asthma in that particular area?
Because of the high contaminants and carbon emissions off of that area that they live.
Okay.
Because of the air quality, right? And so that was the thing that the nurse was lifting up. So when we talk about that, then we started noticing, it's more in black and brown communities. And there's a word for it. It's called environmental justice. So, this is what we've been doing the work, didn't have a name for it.
Yes.
Right? So that opened up that. And we focus on housing sustainability. As a mother, I transitioned. Yes, I started off as a housewife, but didn't work out. So we had to still take care of the kids, right? Still had to have a house to live in, right?
Care of the kids,
come on,
take
make
care
sure.
Of yourself.
There we go. And then ensure what we realize is in our black communities, our homes, once we own them, come on, that's wealth. Right? That's the ability to transfer our historical wealth from our generation. So that was my main thing. I want a home. We need to be buying homes. But we know in Detroit, a lot of the homes when we were purchasing, one had land contract, then they had property taxes tied to them or big water bills. So see, the work I started with was organically connected because it was stuff I was actually impacted with. And it was not just me. It was actually my neighbors, my friends, my families as well. So, Detroit Action kind of birthed. And I became the first housing organizer for Detroit Action, Keeping Families in Home and Stopping the Foreclosure of Occupied Homes, was that campaign, which we realized our properties were overassessed from 2007, right, to 2015.
Yes.
What we say, we're not going to call it president, but they bailed out the big three. They bailed out the mortgage companies, but they did not bail out the residents.
They did not bail out the residents, and it was the mistake of the state. Am I correct?
Yes, because they were
overassessed. Just break it down for people when you mean that. We were paying too much money out.
Yes. Okay. So
overassessment. So break that down. Mm-hmm.
So this is where it has to be clear for the overassessment.
Yes.
From the state level, you cannot assess your property for over 51% of its value. But during that time, we just said they were. I call it our particularly real time recession. And so within that, like we said, they froze certain interest rates and the way things were done for the big three, for the mortgage companies. But what they didn't do is pause and re-look at how our property was being assessed. So they over-assessed our properties and kept moving.
We were paying more money.
Over the 51%.
51%. And then when people went on behalf of the owners of homes, went to say, well, ask the government, what are you going to do about that? And they said, what?
Oh, that was not our fault.
That's what the government said.
Said it's not our fault. Sorry. Alvin Horn actually said, yes, we did.
Our local government
said. We did over-assess you.
Yes.
But really we can't do anything about it, which was a lie. It was a lie.
That's right.
Right? And so through the Property Tax Coalition, that was been aggressively and been moving within the last probably 10, 15 years within making sure that individuals who lost their homes, you got compensation. And I do want to say, we talked about that. They did have compensation last October, that those individuals from 2007 to 2015, if you were able to prove you were in those homes and you lost your home, they were able to get them $5,000. Yeah, $5,000 in checks. And right now, based on that situation, what's in place? If you lose your homes now this is the catch.
Right.
If you lose your home through the property tax foreclosure, there's a form that you have to fill out. You fill it out before July 1st. You actually get between $5,000 and $10,000, all depends how much they sell your house for. So they understand that there's a certain amount of equities in these homes.
So people today, if they feel that they were overassessed, they can still apply for a redress in terms of...
Yes, absolutely. Overassessment now. So let's get it clear. You got two parts. You got the overassessment that is occurring, but then those that actually lost their properties.
Whoa.
You get what I'm saying? Because you may have individuals that have multiple pieces of property.
Right.
So, so we got...
So how does one go about finding this information? Where do they find this information? This is so important.
It is.
Because if people like yourself, public servants who have the information, but how do you get to the people? And then the people have to act on it too.
Now see, come on now. Mm-hmm. Now that's really where I feel our people really get stagnant. It's the follow-up. So first of all, you're absolutely right. Let's start with the question that you said before about the overassessments. If you think your property is overassessed, you go to the city county building. You go to your assessor office. Right? And they actually will look at your property taxes. And 9 times out of 10, if you think you're being overassessed, you are. And they will reduce the assessment. And some people, you ready? Get checks back. Because they realize, we've overassessed you. So you need to get your money back.
They wouldn't even get a check or any notice unless the individual go down to the city county building, check on their property themselves.
Go to the assessor office.
To call you.
No.
The government is not going to call you.
No.
The secretary is not going to call you. The media is not going to call you. No one is going to call you.
Nope. Now I will say this.
Okay.
I do believe through the window of January and maybe top of February, you do get an envelope with information pertaining to your assessments. But it's a small window, because they only want you to really assess it between February 14th and the 22nd.
But it doesn't discuss...
Which is, 2 weeks off?
Right, but it doesn't discuss, by the way, if you have been overassessed, these are the steps that you need to take.
It does make mention. Yes, it does say that.
All right.
It said, if you feel like you're overassessed, please come to the assess office. But did you hear me say the small window that they send out this mailer and information? After March, no, you're not getting it no more. Right? And so that's why, like you said, our follow-up is important. documentations that we realize in high yellow, which we fought for. So there's no coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, those documentations are in yellow. We fought for that. We didn't want you to get a regular white piece of paper.
Yeah.
We wanted it to flag you, right? Why are now words bigger and bolder? Think about it, you know what I'm saying? So we wanted to make sure information would distribute, but let's be clear. We've had a prior administration that have put more barriers and obstacles in place. So when we talk about the property tax foreclosure, barriers that we felt at a high level was the lack of information towards the time frames of when you actually get foreclosed, right? Like we're saying, it used to be 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 2.
It's only 2 now?
It's only 2.
So if you get a foreclosure notice,
you get four. You
Okay,
get
go
one
ahead.
that say
Okay.
you're in delinquent,
Okay.
and you get a small window and say forfeiture, and then you get foreclosed, and that happens in a 24-month period. That's 2 years. And it used to be, because if you notice, I just said 3 words. It used to be 3 years. So they have shortened the time period and then escalated the foreclosure process between May and June. Remember before? We had between June and August. Now between May and June, where they clap it in. That's why I said between July 1st, you got to have that documentation in to put in and ask for your money when they sell that property.
Right.
Because by now it's August and September, it's going on foreclosure, and they're opening it up to all the investors. And so, number one, where I want to go to keeping families in their home, and why, as one running to be the state representative for 4th House District, to ensure families can keep their homes, that Pay to Stay program that we implemented, it actually expires this year.
Pay to Stay, please.
Come
break
on
that
now.
down.
This is what I want to tie to. Here we go.
Okay.
Because we don't have to get to foreclosures. This is why I want to come on back.
Yes.
We don't have to have families, homes foreclosure, because the program was actually putting a halt that if we identify homes with families in it. That's why I say keeping families in their home and stopping the foreclosure of occupied homes. How is homes going to an arsenal, the land bank, or foreclosing when there's people in them?
Yeah.
Right? So the Pay to Stay program was a program put in place that you made a down payment. Guess what? And this what made it tricky. It was just the one-time down payment for everybody. It didn't even fluctuate. Just a certain amount, you threw that down, whatever your back amount was, it was removed. Then you rolled into the other programs to keep you low and have a payment, placed on that, so at least you can pay your property taxes in a more successful way. Because some people realize I can't pay just the January and the August, right? So now you get the option to say I want to pay from monthly from January, right? Monthly from February, or they have programs that can reduce it down. Now that's the point we're saying. Why are we talking about what programs are available? If we don't have access as the community for resources that are on the table, that's how we lose.
That's how we lose, and that's the good question, though, Ross. If the programs exist,
come on,
and the people are not informed, where's the disconnect here? How you, as a public servant who is running, and by the way, we need to make sure. Tell them about the process in terms of making sure that you may be the winner come August 4th.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that too, because we're going to say that several times.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, as one running for state representative,
yes.
When we were saying keeping the process in state for the Pay to Stay that is expiring this year, right? Mm-hmm. One, making sure there's a dedicated pot, because we just said they make a down payment down, but then we swipe out the debt, right? There has to be a dedicated fund of money to be able to resolve that debt. So one, going to the state to make sure we find that and put that in place. But like you said, the access to information, partnering with the city of Detroit. Let's be clear. The land bank is technically only supposed to be we say reservoir or a location to house unoccupied homes. So before they even get into that process with United Community Housing Coalition, Wayne Metro, United Way, those programs are put in place to help families, right? We would even say from the state, when you get a emergency state relief form, those programs also allow you to get access to get your property tax paid for. We need to just make sure that there's a continued pipeline to ensure that the information is being distributed. That's where the disconnect is, that there's no representation at the state level to ensure that we maintain our housing stock. We realize Michigan is focusing on how can we maintain our families, right? We say seniors is really the standard age of a Michigander. And we want to say, how can we keep families here? We got to focus on the housing stock. We got to make sure families can keep their home and their babies have a place to lay their heads. Right? When we talk about, we drive down so many streets in Detroit and we see people being evicted every day. We see houses on the curb. So it's not even just the homeowner situation, it's a renter's situation as well. So I want to lean into that we identify that there is a high level of unrepresentative tenants. You do have good landlords, but then you have bad landlords. With the city of Detroit, we have an issue that houses are not registered, right, as actual rental properties. Right. So they're substandard living, but you still want high level rent. Right. So from there, we still need standards from the state connected with the county, right? So that's another thing that I have the relationship. Let's I don't have to go and create them. Right. I have the relationship with my county commissioner, with my councilman, right? To make sure that we have concert to say, what can we really do to say we're going to target these district, target our area to find funding to say, landlords, we hear you, but if you're not registered with the city of Detroit, guess what? We get to automatically put a moratorium and freeze all this rent you're supposed to be getting. We go here and put it over. We already know they have a program that you can put your money over to the side and a bank account, but hold those landlords accountable. Because if we got individuals living in houses with no floors, roof leaking, babies living in substandard. I'm not sure if you just heard the report 2 weeks ago. Detroit is the #1 stressed city in the country. We have the highest poverty rate at 33%, and we have the highest unemployment rate at 10%. Now, if we realize we got individuals going to work every day, got their babies at home, but then we still have landlords that are not coming up to the meeting, to the standard. We got legislative that's not speaking up and saying, hold on, I'm not even going in the district to see how my people are living. That's not susceptible. And our residents deserve more. So as Roslyn Ogburn, yes, I'm a write-in candidate, and we're going to go into that. That's what makes me uniquely different. Individuals realize from the state level and where I've been working that I'm not just about a conversation. I may bring a little friction in the room, but guess what? I've always bring a solution to be able to solve it. So when we talk about what we say, water affordability, we realize as the partnership coordinator of Michigan Leader Conservation Voters, like I just told the young lady in the hallway, while my other opponents are looking for a job, I'm on vacation.
You already have a job.
Yes.
You're not looking for a job.
I'm not looking for a job. I'm on vacation, y'all.
What are you looking for as a candidate? What are you looking for?
That's where I'm going. That's why I had to say that I'm on vacation.
She's on vacation.
Because
she has a job.
That's it. Because the leadership...
The key is, why is Roz running?
There we go. Because the leadership in Lansing is lacking representation to one that focused, like we just said, on basic needs of the people. You know where I'm walking. Water affordability. That's why I had to bring MLCV in the room, y'all.
Yes.
Because as the partnership coordinator, I had the privilege to manage the water table in lieu of my executive director, Lisa Wozniak, right? And that had two parts. One, we were the fiduciary, which managed the funding of it. But then we also was focused on the container of a water affordability policy. Right
and
there.
It's a major issue.
Major issue.
I want people to remember.
Let's talk about
remember
this.
Flint. Remember Flint. Then you would understand what Roz is saying about water affordability.
Right, and where we at right now.
In Detroit.
Right now.
Metropolitan Detroit.
It's multiple levels, so I do just want to put a finger on the water table so they can have a little note. They say, what is that?
Please.
There's a statewide table with organizations that came together focusing on water affordability, water infrastructure, and water contaminations. All right. Now, we said affordability to make sure every Michigander has water on at the tap, but they can afford it. So that's where a lot of folks got stuck at. What's affordable? So then it came affordability versus assistance. See? Because are we just assisting the people? are we actually making water affordable? Now, let's put a pin right there. You know Nestle right now
Yes.
is tapping
But
hundreds
this is
of
a
millions
corporation.
of thousands of dollars worth water for about $500 a year annually. And then they bottling and reselling it to us in 4 to 5 separate ways.
The water, if I'm correct, is coming from
Michigan, right out the ground.
From Michigan. First of all, the water's coming from Michigan. Think about that. The water is coming from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Our lakes. They take it and they put it in
and resell it to
and
us.
resell it in a Nestle's bottle.
That's it. And
Ain't
it's
make-
different. It's like 6 other different
not
type of
making
drinks and
this up.
brands.
Not
No, we
making it
not.
up.
No, we not. And that's
Not
what
making it up.
they had their attorneys to get a cap that they pay less than $500 a year for this water. Now let's pause and think about that.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So, but if you pause and look at your water bill, so when we talk about Detroit, we pay for the water we drink, the water we flush, and the water that come from God. We own the system. We manage the system, but we pay the literal retail price when everyone else pay the wholesale price. Because no other municipality pay for this drainage fee.
And speak
Yeah,
to
so the
whoever
drainage
others.
fee, yeah, so our other 1,035 cities that are attached to Detroit's water.
Our water.
Our water, y'all. So I think when we talk about affordability, so the affordability plan is a statewide plan to put a surcharge, and this is where the fight was, and they're going to say, between the $3 to $9. I'm going to say the 3 to 9. Yes, I am. $3 to $9 on all Michiganders' service line. And so the individuals, like we just said, that 3 to 9. I'm just saying, I can pay the extra $9, right? Some people can pay the extra $9, but others cannot. And that offset for those that are under the national income affordability grid, they get the offset in the lower rate for the water. And that's what the affordability, to make water affordable to everyone. Now, where the issue is we had certain cities that had water main breaks. I'm not going to throw names, but they had to go to the state and actually get additional fundings to redo infrastructure work. Okay? And recently, I think Novi just had another water break, so they had to go get assistance as well. So when we talk about this, we have to look at it the whole state gambit, because there are counties, Highland Park as well, they're paying already a surcharge. Highland Park specifically is paying $150 on their bill plus the water they drink. So when we talk about adding that additional 3 to 9, those are the cities that are looking and saying, well, wait a minute. I already have a surcharge. I already have, you know what I'm saying, a bill attached. So how can we make that all affordable? And that's where the conversation was trying to get additional funding from senator tables, from the federal tables, to offset the initial funding as we move forward. Because this will be, like we just said, to ensure everyone have access. And this is why I'm saying, this is what, to me, made it not just a Detroit, because you know what they say. Oh, this is just a Detroit issue. This is not a whole statewide. The individuals that move forward, I got to bring Mama Monica in the room.
That's
Come
right.
on, Lewis Patrick.
That's right.
That it had the focus also on septics.
Septic
Tanks. Yes.
Septic tanks.
So when we
Yes.
talk about Detroit, we have infrastructure, right? We focusing on our waste sewer lines along with our water lead lines. But in certain communities, they don't have waste infrastructure at all. So you go pull up somewhere, they have septic tank systems that their waste goes into systems in the ground. If there's no infrastructure funding for that, pause and think about what's going on in those communities. You got waste just sitting in the lawns and in systems sitting. So that's a health issue.
Sure it is.
So when we talk about water, why water is a human right? When we talked about COVID, they identified, they focused and looked at our waste. Areas that had high COVID, they looked at the waste and saw where you at. We had a whole system online. So all of these infrastructure aspects are connected with contamination and health. So we as Michigan, what you said, being the governors of the fresh water. Come on, you already know. The Show Me's, the Superior. Come on, Huron, Ontario, Michigan, and Erie. we must protect them as well.
That's right.
Though.
Must be protected.
Because we talked about it.
That's
There's
right.
groundwater. We just said
That's
the
right.
water come out the ground.
Right.
But in these systems, how are we putting policies in place to protect the water at all angles? So
Right.
that's where I just wanted to go. I'm not going to go into the depth of every level of the
And
bill.
it becomes a health issue, and it could become a health issue.
That's it.
Yes,
That's it
yes.
right now. So even when
Yeah.
we talk about, I'm going to say right now, this current issue that's out with the contamination of the
Yes,
lettuce.
of the lettuce.
How we not know is something about the water.
That's what I
Come
said.
on, lack of water
Yes.
may have
Yes.
something
Yeah.
to do with the spread of this new infection that is plaguing, and it seems like Michigan at a higher level.
It is at a higher level. The highest level right now is in Michigan, based on the numbers.
See,
Based on-
so
right.
so we tying it really, like you say, that we praying everybody be healthy for that. Wash your hands.
You ain't lying. Let me ask you this: can one's water be turned off?
So
What's the parameters around
And that,
water?
thank you for
right,
asking
shut
for
off
that.
or not? Yeah.
Thank you for asking for that, because I just had to get clarity myself. All
Okay.
right, so we are currently in a moratorium based on our current mayor, Mayor Sheffield, for days that are higher than 90 degrees.
Okay.
So days that are higher than 90 degrees, she's not certain they're not turning off water.
Anyone's water in Detroit.
Days that are not over 90 degrees. So we had to
It's hot as heck at 90 degrees.
So we had to figure out, is it a moratorium
Yes.
or you just shutting off on hot days?
Right.
So we got the question, we got the information
Okay.
that they're just shutting off, they're only shutting off water days, we just say lower than 90 degrees. So that's why it's important to have a water moratorium. Our current mayor ran on a water moratorium, right? Companies right now, they're negotiating properties and agreements, and they're negotiating out water bills and property taxes right now as we speak.
As we speak.
And so I think that's really why it's important to have leadership that is 10-toe down on certain things. That's why I say, as a mother, and we've also even leaned into Mother of Justice, and also got to give a shout out to the Chamber of Reproductive Justice.
That's right.
Woo woo, Cassie. Don't make them
Right.
brag. Woo
That's
woo.
right.
To be able to center around water at every angle. Every angle. You cannot have a healthy birth without water.
That's right.
Well, we even realize if you're not drinking enough water before you get pregnant, you're a subject for your child not to be healthy. Or if the water you're drinking while you're pregnant is contaminated.
Yes.
So, see, you see contamination,
Yes.
infrastructure,
That's right.
and affordability.
That's right.
How they all tied together. And that's why I just wanted to wrap that back into that bow, because when we talk about Detroit, that's the issue we've been having.
So if a family, I'm going to just use a family for example. There's a family, there are children in the house, and the bill has not been paid for whatever reason. Now, I'm not debating that. It could be that they didn't pay it, didn't want to pay it, or couldn't pay it.
Okay.
One of the three. Can the city or the government still shut off the water?
Yes.
Okay.
And the way it's stated, I have not seen this happen, but I heard it could. That if
I've heard that too.
if you have children in your home with no water, they call that neglect.
And guess what they do? They could, if I'm correct, take the children to a safe, they call it safe space,
Yes.
until that situation is rectified.
Yes.
That's what I was told.
Yes, and I agree with you. That's what I
Okay.
heard as well.
That's right. Okay.
And so like you just said, if we realize out of 600,000 and some change residents, and they still have identified as 20,000 residents in the city of Detroit don't have water.
20,000 residents
Don't have water.
don't have water in a metropolitan area called Detroit.
Detroit. And so we got a guesstimation. It's 15 and some change, but we realize, we don't all tell our business.
No, of course not. Mama told you no, we ain't telling that.
So that's why we had to up that number, because we know
Holy.
We know it's some more folks out there. And I met two of them, and this one older lady, I just said this to my counsel's assistant. We got a double back because she told me she was a Hidden Figures.
A Hidden Figure.
Yes, she did. She said I was the first black woman to work at AT&T, to work the computers.
Okay.
Having a water issue.
Having a water issue. No water.
She was outside.
What do we tell people if, as a public servant, as you are venturing out to request, urge, and excite people about supporting you by August 4th?
Yes.
What can we do about a situation like that? I mean, that's huge.
Yes. And so I'm so glad you went here because, of course, like you say, I'm already working for my residents.
Of course you
right?
are.
And so by being endorsed by my Congresswoman, Rashida Tlaib, by being endorsed by my Councilman, Denzel McCampbell, I have been very intense and focused on the resources that are actually available.
Okay.
Hear what I'm saying? So where we talk about different levels of what the needs are. So what do we talk about first when we talk about the water aspects? Some people need infrastructure support. Let's be clear.
Now tell us, what do you mean by that?
Pipes have busted, right? So
Okay.
remember,
Okay.
last couple years we done had these different
we have.
storms. Look, I believe in one day we went from almost 50 below,
Right.
up to 20 or whatever. So the temperature really impacted a lot of people's homes, especially homes that were about 100 years old.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm hearing, that there was a lot of piping infrastructure issues. So that was number one, to say, okay, let's figure out how we can get you on this piping infrastructure line to get assistance. Because the city has a program right now that is replacing pipelines for community.
So the
and
city
the city has a program right now. Yes, that you can sign up to get your pipes and infrastructure repaired.
Okay.
Now, then also, if we say individuals say, well, like we just said, the water bill, maybe a back water bill. Wayne Metro has funding, but then also, got to throw it out there, my Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She is paying bills in real time.
And has been paying
and
bills.
has been paying,
This
and
is
had a
nothing new
dedicated
for her.
fund.
That's right.
For this specifically
For
for her
years.
residents.
That's right.
Right, and so that's another thing. I ran out of her literature, but I have been handing out her information at the same time. When families was like, well, you know anybody that's paying water bills or DTE? Boom, yes. Contact her office. She's already waiting and focused to be able to serve you, to make sure you keep your utilities on. Now, that's another thing. When we talk about the water bills, I realize sometimes we put that in its own bucket. But where we've been moving is water is a human right, so is your utility bills. You need your DTE on. Let's be clear. In the middle of winter, we can't survive without no heat. We humans. So that is something also I just want to put it on the floor. So Roslyn, Ogburn, your next state representative, has my fingerprints already on them bills that has been focusing on holding DT accountable. So a lot of people have been talking about mopping money out of Michigan politics, right? And we've tied them also with the Ratepayer Bill of Rights. Now, the Ratepayer Bill of Rights is a new piece, so I'm going to start with that latter. But mopping money out of Michigan politics, I'm not sure if y'all remember, it was called Take Back Our Power. That's how it came out the gate with that ballot initiative to literally hold DTE, Consumer Energy, and at first they didn't say it, but now we saying it, and Blue Cross Blue Shield accountable, right? And you mean, what do you mean? So we're restricting, asking candidates to not take any PAC money from these entities. Why? Because they hold contracts over $250,000 with the state. So it's actually a conflict of interest for you to actually have a contract with the state, and then you actually give dollars to your legislative. Because of the bills we're trying to move to reduce our insurance premiums, to reduce our utility bills, right? If you're not really working for us, then that's a means that the utility companies can influence those to say, yeah, don't move those bills. Don't do that, right? So mopping money out of Michigan politics is a sign on at first. So let's be clear. It made the actual candidates sign on that say they won't take the money, but then also they won't take any other greedy entities' forms of money that will influence them towards passing bills at the higher level. So that's why when people say, you hearing everybody, I'm not taking greedy and corporate money, let's be clear. We just put that out there, and I'm the one that sent the sign-in form. Yes, let's be clear. We ain't gonna talk about who didn't sign on it first, but that's really where I think we need to talk about how individuals have already been doing certain back work, but the conversation of once we talk about and we break down why the Michigan Public Service Commission is not working for us. Because guess what? They're paid for by DTE as well.
So the code word for that is the lobbying, and the lobbyists provide funds.
There we go.
To these corporations. That means that who gives the money is who they're beholding to.
That's it.
They might give you the impression they're going to take care of Roslyn and Tony and Lavonia.
Come on, let's talk about it.
But at the end of the day, the person who received the money, an elected official, they are going to be getting a phone call possibly
when it's time to make you vote.
When it's time to vote.
Don't do this.
In favor of the corporation.
Not the consumer.
And not the consumer. Be clear on that.
That's it.
That's why your vote is so important, and who you vote for.
There you go. And
Yes.
I want to make this separation, because this is how we've been doing some education in the community.
Yes.
About the DTE Foundation and the DTE actual company that you get your bill from.
Okay.
They're two different entities.
All right.
It's like the right hand. This, you get the bill. They provide the actual energy service. You call them, with the 844 number, 447 or something.
444.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, right. Everybody knows.
But the left is the foundation. Now, with the foundation, they massage our community. They go to the churches. They bring the light bulbs. That's where we get the grants from for the roof to pay our bills. But let's be clear. The money from the right hand is supposed to support the grid. They're supposed to give us access to the grid. Because right now we're on
the grid that goes down.
They're supposed to support the power.
Gotcha.
That couple years ago, I think like 10, 15 years, we had more access as a community to the grid. We've lost access. We're only at, I believe, like 84% of the grid that we're pulling from. So we want more access to the grid. We want more solar options. But instead, they're spending that money on their lobbying practices, putting more money into their investors' pockets. Because what we've identified, these CEOs, they're taking so much money home, it makes no sense.
We're
Billions
of
their take home.
Over $1 million plus.
Of $1 million, in total, $1 billion in total. Because it's not just one person.
So
let's be
while
clear. And we ain't talking about Miss Joy's income.
So while my lights are going out and my food is going bad.
Yes.
For a week.
Yes, and they trying to see that $40.
And they pick $40. $40. It won't fill your gas tank.
No, it won't. And then let's talk about that. Let's pause there real quick. The Ratepayer Bill of Rights. So we're going to jump into them.
Yes, please.
So that was mopping money out of Michigan politics, holding DT accountable and trying to tell the elected official, don't take the money, because when you take the money, it looks like you're on their side. So that's really the stand, and the ballot initiative is to hold them accountable. Now, here we go. Ratepayer Bill of Rights is this 7-point bill package that literally talks about, like we were saying, us getting a balanced amount when the freezer goes out, because we only get the $45. And
$45.
Wait a minute, and y'all not ready. This was the first time I tried to get this claim. Didn't I tell you? You got to take a picture of all the food, and we done threw the food out by days.
Right, because it smells.
So while you get to the end of the form, they're like, yeah, we need that picture.
You mean to tell me, but you get the form, you fill out the form.
It's online. It's online.
It's online, and then they tell you at the end of the. But did you take a picture?
We need a picture. You can't even file the form or complete it without uploading or submitting your picture.
You can't continue.
You cannot even continue.
And submit.
And it neither tells you at the very beginning of the application.
Isn't
to
that
say,
something?
hello, we want to make sure that you document all your photo. It doesn't say any of that. So this is another thing that we identified and realized. DTE is not working for us. So the Ratepayer Bill of Rights was like I say, 7-point bill package that actually focuses on the consumer. It ties in, once again, that they spend the money that we pay for our bills to work for the grid, bringing community solar, bringing access to give us more money. And we're going to go there about individuals that have health issues. If you're on breathing systems, you need oxygen, you need to power up. So you may need to go to a hotel or somewhere else you have to pay those dollars you should be getting returned, especially when you're on a fixed and a budgeted income. That's another piece that this bill package is tied to be able to offset. Like we just said, you don't have to find those bills. Them bills looking right at you, right? They're going to be on the, like you said, especially if you got to do a credit card. The economic burden that DTE is putting on their people is horrible. And that's basically, like I say, to wrap up the Ratepayer Bill of Rights. It's a Bill of Rights that is focusing on the consumer, holding them, the DTE, accountable, but actually letting the resident know that there are legislators that work for them. So I got to throw, Tanya Meyer Phillips that was just in here, because she does have one of those bill pieces on that aspect. And we know that the shut-off portion for seniors and the children is a piece that she added to. So we want to make sure that we lift that up, because the shut-off key is a key aspect. That's what we was talking about, the water affordability. You asked that. Is there a moratorium? Not really, but we have a moment right there, for like when it's not too hot. But we do have state reps that are dedicated to say, hold on, right now, DTE needs to be held accountable on that and stop the shut-off.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned something. If one is on oxygen, these are just basic information for people who are probably sitting here listening to you intensely, and like, I'm not missing a word that Roslyn is saying. If I am sitting in my house or apartment and all the utilities go down and I'm on oxygen, will DTE compensate the individuals for that?
No, so the number one
just
thing...
Just the food right now?
Yeah, no, they will compensate what you pay for, but there's a maximum of the $45.
40.
That's the maximum. That's what we're saying. There should not be a maximum for what I paid. Right, I'm gonna get back. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When we talk about hotel, I done paid $200 for stay.
Right, most people oxygen, they go to a hotel.
Because I need to plug in my system.
That's
what we're saying.
Or they have children, or they asthma. I mean, all kinds of reasons you need.
You got bronchitis.
Yes.
You got the CPACs.
Yes.
You have multiple systems that need electricity. Yeah. Now, what we do know that DTE does have a program in certain areas that they may offer the generators, but we're not sure how long they offer them. And then we don't know how many they have to offer. So it's kind of like a first come, first serve type of situation and scenario. And it all depends where you live at. See, so that's another thing we want to say. As your next state representative and working with the organizations that I work with, that is a piece that we have already dedicated towards, working with Mama Teresa Landrant, of course, from District 48217, which is the most contaminated air quality community. And so, but we realize them individuals we just said, you're on a CPAC. You got oxygen. You might need, like you say, some other stuff to help you clear out your system.
Yes.
But you have no power. Those homes should automatically be dedicated to getting grant funding, because we realize they need to have their electrical systems redone, because majority of the homes 50 years or older do need to be rebooted. But also the dedicated solar power generators. You get what I'm saying? But they're literally can transition. So when the power go down, they automatically transition back over. They have power packs already connected, right? They stay connected to the Wi-Fi. They never shut. They literally houses never shut down. So like we're saying, if they have the diabetics, because I realize insulin has to be cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We even talk about mothers that are breastfeeding.
Yes.
Right? If your deep freeze go out after 3 days, you lose all that breast milk. You see what I'm saying? So we have focused to say, without utilities, folks can literally die.
Yes.
Because you're losing the life sustainable things that you need. We realize everybody does not fall in that compartment, but for those, we should be making a serious provision and be proactive. That's the problem. See, as an environmentalist, it's not like the world is coming to the end, but if we already a little prepared, we can kind of help where we're at for those that may be in the lower level of needing. And so that's why I say for the seniors, of course, our babies, right? Most vulnerable communities, and where we realize in our Black and brown communities, a lot of us, we're prideful.
And the thing about
they don't even want to talk about where we at.
But guess what? In this world today, in this digital technology world, the government basically know who we are already. They already know Mrs. Jones has a oxygen problem. They know that Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, is taking care of the children over here on the east side. They already see, the government already knows. DTE knows their audience. They know their people. They know who we are. And so my situation, or the situation, is being prepared for the people that you're serving. You already know there's an oxygen equipment in that house. You already know that. DT knows that. Because how do they know? They're clocking on the rate. Now, all of a sudden, they clock my rate, for example. And then they say, well, dang, Lavonia rate went sky high. What happened? So they can look at and make an assessment.
Yes.
And say, maybe there's something happened in the house. And then they need to kind of, not check, but they need to compensate or manage what is happening. There is something happening there. Maybe there's 3 children in there. Maybe somebody needs whatever. But I'm telling you now, we're talking as if the citizens have to go down and knock on the door of DTE. No. The government already knows what we need.
Yes. And so, just like you said, let's be clear. DTE and Consumer Energy, they're a company. They're focused on making money.
Profit-making company.
Profit-making
company. They're not a non-profit organization.
No, they're not. Nope.
They're not. Make a profit.
They're not like we say our transit systems, because we have certain systems that are put in place to not make money, but to be service. They are not it. So we want to be clear about that. So in that, we remember back in the day that even when your service was about to be cut off, someone would call you. Do you need assistance? These are programs, 211. Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Oh, no, you didn't know that? No, they don't do that no more. They're not calling you. So what, like you just stated, the focus of the residents now is to identify what resources are available.
So the residents really have to
work for themselves. Yes, DT is not working for them. Their legislator is not working for them. So I'm Roslyn Ogburn, running for state representative for 45th District. I'm replacing Karen Winstead and such alike. She stopped working last August, remember? So for my district, no one has sent out mailers, resources, anything since last August when she was running for city council. For my district.
Give us the map of your district. Give us the map.
So
break it down. And what I'd like for you to do, because I asked Tanya to do the same thing, I think a representative. The people in your district, give me some landmarks.
Okay, absolutely.
So people kind of know. We might talk about the district, we might talk about the map, but who lives there?
There we go.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, I'm glowed on my district.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so first of all, let's start off. We know 4th House District is the redistrict state house of 3. So we started off in 2020 as State House 9. Then we would redistrict in 2022 for State House 3. And within this last 2024, we are now State House 4.
Okay.
So we need to know that.
That's your
That's
district.
my district now
State
that I'm
House
4, right?
District State House 4.
Okay. And 90% of our district is in City Council, District 7, and Wayne County Commissioner, District 7 as well. And so I have a top piece of portion of the District 1, which is part of the above Schoolcraft and Grand River part over from the kind of, what would I say, it's kind of cuts and come over Grand River, Schoolcraft.
So what's over there?
Wait a minute, hold on, no. I'm about to say, and I got a little bit of 2.
Okay, got you, right. Okay.
I got a little bit of 2 over by the collective.
Okay, that's what
so
we
I
need
do
to
have
know.
3 city council districts. I do want to say that. And so in my district, Warrendale community is my home base. Cody Rouge, which is Warren, Southfield, Evergreen area. Okay, so when you come up higher, going northbound, Cody Rouge, St. Suzanne, whoop, whoop. That's my area. Far west side. So we, of course, have our Detroit Forest, 300, and then Greater Burnett Baptist churches in my district as well, coming on up. And so bringing that T-zone is what we're saying, which I just found out. I said, wait a minute. And I looked over, I said, we got the collective right at our former mills, but I said, when I think of my Warren Connors area, I said, hold on, We are the only one that's still for the west side, our 7 days west. I thought 7 days east was still up. I'm sorry. See, I was creeping to it. I didn't want to just hit hard. So coming from the original east side. But so it's right there at that 7 day west T as well. So we've been doing a lot of work with the collective as well, and the doing fundraisers, doing the food distribution. And then so we're coming all the way up. This is the redistrict new area.
Okay.
Up at Southfield to 6 Mile. To Greenfield down, over to Puritan, all the way down. Here we go to, like I say, coming down the Grand River. So the new district has cut out our old rec center. So that's when we say our state house and City Council District 7 does not have a rec center. So they are establishing our rec center. It should be up in 2028, something like that. But we have a prolific of parks, of course. So Rouge Park is in our area.
It is.
Yes. And so we got Cody High School, so we definitely have a high T-zone, but we are on the edge of Dearborn. And so where the issue of economic, our basic medium of income is $28,000 and lower. We do have about 6% of our residents that have a bachelor's degree. So I realized high education and focus in Cody back as the premier school for trade, right? Bringing back driver's training. It actually being a driver's training facility. It before, like I say, they're redoing the building. Before they talked about redoing it, it still had 28 small home ec kitchens, fully function. So I'm like, I need all them stoves.
Home ec kitchens.
In 28. In Cody.
28 of them.
Right now. Before they we doing a new building. So I said, we need all that still function. I want wood shop.
Future chefs.
They were using it. How about chefs were using and renting out the kitchen?
Oh, okay.
But who was talking about that?
That's right. Who knew? The chefs knew.
There we go.
But what about the young people who might be the next chefs of the world?
There you go. Of the world. And so that's what I realized by not having your state representatives engage, being in every room, connecting with the community, connecting with our local leaders. That's where the disconnect is in our community. We need more of an united and a concert of information, funding, but then also to hear what the children need right now. We keep hearing the kids taking over. Oh, they downtown doing this. What are we really putting in place for our youth? I'm also looking at our T-zone. So being so close to Dearborn, my children leave the city. They go to Dearborn. It's a skip, hop, jumping away. But guess what? They're making space for their youth. So I said, what would it look like to have a Chick-fil-A on my corridor? I'm tired of going to the 7-Eleven on Joy Road and Telegraph. I want the 7-Eleven on Joy Road between Evergreen and Southfield. How about that? But guess what we got to focus on? Our safety, our crime. We got to be realistic with our conversations. What are we doing to bring the kids together? What are we doing to increase our lighting? What are we doing to say, when the youth, you got an issue, where can we go immediately for someone you can help squash it? Right? So that's where we're bringing the real solutions in real time. Yes, I have housing. Yes, I'm talking about water affordability. Yes, I'm talking about the utilities. But those are just the top three, because if you don't have a bed to lay your head on, you don't know water to turn the tap on, and no lights to hit, and the switch
and a roof over
your head, what we talking about?
Yes.
So I must start back with the fundamental.
Yes.
Because when I hear these babies, they not talking about all that. See, also Sunday school teacher. So when they come in, the first thing, if I hear their stomach growl before anything, as one that say I feed my babies every Sunday.
Yes.
Right? When I see mamas coming in and saying, there's a resources here to pay my rent. See, so I also remember when there were resources right on your block. Right? You just said certain keywords.
Block captains.
Keywords.
Presidents of the block club.
Come on, keywords would flick stuff.
Right.
You look up something on your porch.
Right.
That baby came down. You see how the baby, she needs some shoes. Back in the day, you didn't have to say nothing.
That's right.
You just showed up and the mamas saw
That's
the
not
need.
happening now.
Because we need better leadership and we need to talk more about how we can show up. Rather, you said it, complain. That's the point about, like I said, thank you for the civic educational opportunity. Because civic engagement is talking about how we as be civil
Yes.
to one another.
That's right. That's right.
Right? This is our civilization. This is our Detroit. This is our city.
And we need
how
to
will
tell
we engage?
our story.
Come on.
And how we engage and be active.
That's it.
It's a two-way street.
You said it's a two-way street, and we've been far too long looking at what we say politicians.
Yes.
Folks trying to just get a Photoshop.
Right. Get
Just
a job.
That's it. Get a job.
With a pension.
With a pension. And literally are
and
not.
how are they serving?
Wait, come on. Or no,
citizen?
you said it that how you're serving, or you don't have any back history. Right. So let's start there. That's why I started off as saying, mama just follow my kid, right? Seeing certain things. But I do want to say that first civil activation was when they pulled affirmative action. Remember that? Mm-hmm. I didn't know what affirmative action actually did. I didn't. When somebody actually said, oh, let me tell you what they just did. Let me tell you what they just did. Oh, that's gonna pack. How many boys you got? You got 4? Oh, that's gonna pack them some way. Took me a minute. That's how I got engaged. That's how I started knocking doors. That's the first time I knocked the door. First time I had a little petition board. We need to sign this. Cheerleading coach, kids on basketball teams, because I realized it is us that be needing that assistance. And so now when we talk about legislative and leaders that can talk about policies across the aisle, when we go for lobby day, conversations with our legislative, the first thing I see on their table, a book with some water and some trees. Because that is a nonpartisan issue. Everybody need water. We love the nature, right? And what we don't realize, our other side of the aisle, they like nature too. They like hunting, all types of But how do we find that alignment to work together as humans?
Right.
I know the big factor of the fighting is shutting down Line 5. So
talk about that.
Yes, let's talk about that, because I had my head, I was knocking doors, and somebody texted me like, yeah, you heard what just happened? Yeah. So the Line 5 is, I don't know how old you are, but it's older than my mother. It was only supposed to be a mission or commissioned for 50 years. It is an oil line that supposedly America only receives 5% of it, and 95% of the oil is going to Canada. So we only receive 5%. Let's be clear. But Enbridge and some of our construction companies, let me be nice and not name them, they maintain them, so they make money off of them. The line is cracked 3 times, so they put it in casing in 2020 around them to keep whatever that has broke. So that means oil is leaking, ladies and gentlemen. And so they're
in this area?
Yeah, and over Line 5. So the line is there. It's about 72 years old. It was only supposed to be in commission 50 years. Once it started to crack, that's when we talk about shut Line 5 down. Then the conversation said we'll encase it. The encasing conversation started in 2020. We have unions that are making money. Enbridge and these other companies are maintaining it. So they're working. We're keeping them actively making money. This is why they're not shutting down Line 5. Because the unions are making money. But the bottom line is, we are the governors of the fresh water. We protect almost 90-something% of America's fresh water.
Yeah.
So why are we allowing them to have oil leaking in there? Everybody remember the BP and the Marathon spill off of Florida? So slowly, we got oil leaking in the water right now as we speaking. And then casing is only doing so much. So when we talk about water protection, I said this, my grandbaby, 4 years old. I remember saying this before, I'm protecting water for my grandbaby. Now I got 3 about to be on the planet. And we still talking about shutting down Line 5.
Still talking about it.
Because when greedy corporations move forward and they say, well, you're going to have people that die. It's okay. No, it's not okay.
No.
Because what did I say? We were talking about environmental justice. We identify, it is black and brown bodies they put on the line. Now, if you get to talking about white bodies, and they babies, oh, wait a minute, hold on. They community rise up like oil. Okay? But when it comes to us, they try to buy us out. They try to shut us down. They try to give us jobs. And then you look up 10 years later, oh, why are people dying over there? What's going on? So we have to stand 10 toes down now and say, nah, we're not doing that. No, we want to focus on our health. We want to make sure we have access to healthy communities and can breathe well. Like we talking about the Canadian fires. We know doggone well the community 48217 been dealing with all that. Air purifiers should have been being pushed like never before. Thank God I woke up that day, 7 in the morning, going to Walmart, I grabbed the last air purifier off the shelf.
Wow. Yeah.
Last one.
Well, I thought my apartment building was on fire. It was just that, because you know I live here on the river. I thought I came out of my apartment and I came all the way down because I said, well, no firemen, no anything, no this, no sirens, nothing's happening. I said, because nobody
said nothing.
Nobody said anything. So I went, like a person, I went to my computer and my phone and I got the information. But no one said a word. I mean, you remember, you're not as old as I, but back in the day, there used to be a test of the sirens.
Yes.
For tornadoes.
Yes.
And other things.
Yes.
The siren would go off, and it was just a practice. Right. I'm
So,
like, this is when the siren should have gone off when the the smoke.
Okay, so now you're talking about so old. So now, I'm born in California. Mm-hmm. So my mother is from Detroit. My father's from St. Louis. I was blessed. My mother brought me here every summer to be with my grandmother till 9, and we moved here. But in California, we had drills all the time.
Did you?
So we had earthquake drills, fire drills, and bombing drills. The bomb drills was the ones you was in the hallway. My granddaddy used to say, put your head between your legs and get ready to kiss your goodbye. Remember that?
I remember that one. Definitely remember that
was
one.
that.
Yep, that's right.
That was the bombing drill. The earthquake drill was the one under the tables.
Under the table.
And the fire ones was you got to get out the building quick.
That's right. Get in line. Go this way.
And they timed
you.
Right.
Right.
And then you got some goodies for the class that got out quicker or something like that, right? You got a pizza party or something. So, but like you just said, are our children going through that right now?
Not that I'm aware of.
When last time we saw a bombing alarm or what that sound like? So, and I'm not to scare y'all. So within the last 90 days, I actually have been identifying bombing shelters and locations in my area, finding if they're still there, finding what their actual condition is, how many that they store, and what we should be doing if anything occur. So that is not, to me, scaring the community. Once again, we're being prepared.
Prepare the community.
If you saw my text, my post, when the tornado hit and all the trees, as your local environmentalist, I know what a tornado look like because I've been in two. I said, this is the tornado. I can't blame this on DTE. I'm just mad we don't have no solar energy to power up to.
Yes.
But when trees break from the ground over and snap in two like that, those are tornadoes. But guess what? I just had a conversation with a council people. So that would be a state emergency that someone actually has to declare.
Yes.
For us to get funding and support.
In order to get funding for the individuals who the tree is falling on your house, your roof is caved in, all your furniture's gone, all your food is gone.
And I have videos going through certain communities. Trees are toppled everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
From the roots.
From the roots. Straight up out the ground. Like literally the gentleman texted me 2 days ago and said, they ain't come out. And I said, wait a minute. Is that?
Blocking streets.
I said, hold on. Is that private property? Oh, my bad. Hold on. I don't know if they do private property. And that's where the conversation started to come from, saying, hold on. Is anyone making a declaration? But if you don't have representation at a state level to come out, make a site, have a conversation, escalate things up.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now?
You're on your own. You're on your own.
And trees falling on homes, these beautiful brick, large estates. Some of these are not even homes, they're estates.
Gotcha.
So we need to focus on that. But like we saying, this is a great opportunity to be able to talk about what's happening in real time, talk about legislators and leaderships that the people can actually write in and have their voice in.
Right.
And
that's
so as I was just about to say, as we close out,
work with me on that.
Yes.
How do they do that?
For a write-in candidate. Okay. So we want to just land there. Ladies and gentlemen, you know Roslyn Ogburn has been dedicated and focused in handling the business. But like we stated, as one that has already showed the hand of committed and knowing that they're going to Lansing to transform, we realized they was on some bull. Fees was paid at the end of 2025. They didn't even balance them out to May 13th to the 20th. So that would stop me from being on the ballot. So now we've been moving as a write-in candidate. So you had to make a declaration of intent as your write-in candidate to make sure that
That's
you
what
come.
you had to do.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, to make sure that once we get across the field, we're gonna be on the ballot for November, right? And that secures us. And
So what does one have to do on the absentee ballot they receive, and on August 4th?
Absolutely.
How do they know if they so choose? How do they do a write-in? Talk about the process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So for those that still have, like you say, if you're going with your absentee ballot, you literally have to go to the state representative portion. Make sure you're in 4th House District, because like you say, go to the blank line. You will not see my name, Roslyn Ogburn, but you have to write it in. Write in Roslyn Ogburn.
Spell it, please.
ROSLYN OGBURN. And then you have to fill in the oval bubble. That's our instructions. And then also, we can go to our webpage, roslynmogburn.com, to learn more about me as well. And like I said, we've been aggressively knocking doors in the community, having conversations. We actually been having movie nights on our Saturday. We had to cancel last week because of the air. But we focused on this conversation about the civic engagement. The residents, due to a lot of the conversations that have been going on, they have literally just been confirming what our team has been saying, that they want a candidate that's already working for them, right? We know what's going on at the White House, at the federal level. Everyone knows this is mayhem. So no one has already been working, focusing on housing, focusing on our water affordability and our air quality and protections, but then knowing the relationships that we already have. So like we're saying, as a write-in candidate, what we've identified, and like the woman said yesterday, she said, we wrote in Duggan. Oh, we can write in you. That's not a problem. The issue that we realize in the community is not enough people talk about why a candidate has to be a write-in. Oh, because there are barrier obstacles they put in place on intentional, ladies and gentlemen. This is not by no coincidence. They know what they're doing. But this is like you've been saying. When the community already has a temperature of what's going on and understand the candidates because they have been kept educated. So this is what I want to say. I have been hearing people be negative. No, I believe our voters know. I believe because of what's going on in Washington, because we got, what we going to say, babies at war.
Yes.
We got babies at war. People are at a heightened mindset. And like I said the other day, I'm just a whole mama going to Lansing to transform things. I'm using the lens from that, not from anything else.
Yes.
Like I said, if we don't have housing, if we don't have water, and we don't have utilities, what are we talking about?
That's right.
Right?
As we close, once again, I want people, because my cousins need to be told two or three
times.
How does one on their ballot identify Roz Osborne?
Yes, and so I'm going to lift up this beautiful flyer.
Okay.
Yes. Done by Sean Lee, woo woo. But yes, so making sure when you get your absentee ballot, or if you do walk in to fill out your ballot, go to the state representative area.
On the ballot.
On the ballot. State representative.
Where is it?
It's going to be down below from your congressional representation.
Okay. At the below?
Yep. Below that, you're going to see other names, but you have to write in Roslyn Ogburn at the blank line and then fill in the oval bubble. That's what we need you to do. And so then we'll be all set. But the reality is, like you say, if you need to learn more, roslynmogburn.com, ROSLYNMOGBURN.com, because we want to make sure people do a little research. See, this is what we realize. The education is very imperative because, like you said, we don't want them to just take our word for it. We want you to be able to get that research and then share it to other people right now, because, and throw the back on there, I'm already working for you in real time. Right. Literally, our people are making sure your water stay on. Our people are making sure your utilities stay on. And that's where I think that, like you say, the access of the resources that are available, that's what we should be talking about.
You're not looking for a job. You're looking to do what?
I am looking to serve my community.
All right.
The realization is that we need better representation. I am replacing Karen Wissett and as such of the like. Many individuals said, Roslyn, we need you to represent. And I said, why? They said, because you're already doing the work. You're already moving the water affordability. You're already making sure we got air protection. But we need more. We need housing sustainability. And we need a whole mama to come up in there and transform things. So it was a privilege and an honor to get into this race. And like you said, but I can't do it without my voters. The voters literally have the power to shift this whole system. And when we literally looked at that, it was like, we're about to make history. And every voter that writes my name in will be a part. And so I think we, as the blackest city in the country, literally needs to uplift the work that our black leaders are doing.
All right now.
So I thank you for this opportunity because, we can't do this without you. And these spaces and platforms are priceless. So once again, I just say thank you, and thank you.
And it's my pleasure. We're going to do it again, too.
Yes, thank you.
We're going to continue this civic discussion. Remember, everyone, keep in mind, you can vote now, right now. You can write in, do whatever you need to do to make a difference. You are responsible for your own life. And remember, if you don't write in, the last day to make a difference in your life right now is August 4th. Do it. I'm Lavonia Perryman, and I'll be back with you with many more conversations with many more public servants. You have a good evening.